What up, what up, what up? Football fans all over the world. It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, the super dope co host, Adam Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the real deal. NFC East Round-Up. Punch that intro. Hey, what's going on out there, everybody? What's up, Daniel Barry? Thanks for popping in, man. Appreciate you. What's going on, Adam, man? It's been an interesting weekend of football, man. And we're gonna talk about it in a minute. But how you doing, brother?
Well, I'm doing okay. I mean, my mental psyche is going, but other than that, I'm okay. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna get right to it. We're gonna go over to Germany. Early Sunday morning, get up. You know, figure we're gonna watch a little bit of New York Giant football and thinking we're gonna actually see some maybe reminiscence of some old school New York Giant football. We're going against the Carolina Panthers in Germany. Yeah, they ain't got nothing but a bunch of rookie receivers. They're a dumpster fire right now. This team is absolutely terrible. But of course, the New York Giants go over there to Germany and find a way to lose to the Carolina Panthers. And it was quite embarrassing to say the least. A lot going down after this game, a lot of blowback. Joe Shane, Giants going into the bye week. Joe Shane press conference. A lot of things that we can dig into with this New York Giant team right now because it's a mess. It's a mess, man. I'm gonna let Adam go ahead and get it in right quick, man.
Mess doesn't describe the feeling that I had. So, Mac, you painted the picture nicely. We're getting up. We're thinking of it as a victory. Now, many people know I don't necessarily need a victory. I don't. I don't really care. It doesn't really do anything for me beating them. But of all the teams that I thought we were getting a victory against, we were 7-point favorites to be exact, was this team. And so here we are. Here I am eating my breakfast with my kids. Yeah, I was like, wow, football. And I'm watching the Giants, and I see Chuba Hubbard running all over this defense. Like doing all this dance moves and stuff, getting 100 yards in basically the first quarter. And I'm sitting here like, what is happening right now? This is the Carolina Panthers we're talking about. They traded away half their damn team is gone. They have a bunch of rookies playing out there, right? Mind you, Giant defense, you got schooled by rookies, okay? And then you have Bryce Young back there who's doing nothing but reading the open man and making the throw when he needs to make the throw. Okay, so I'm like, all right, whatever. It's an omelet. Then you get into the first half, and we don't score a point. A point, Mac. We don't score a point. A point. How
Not
in
one
the
damn
world
point.
this team, the Carolina Panthers, are statistically the worst team in football. Statistically, they are 32 across the board. And we couldn't put up a damn point in the first half. In the first half,
Not a one. Not a one.
the
Not
stat
against that
line was
vaunted Carolina defense.
vaunted Carolina defense. I mean, what are we talking about here? They have nobody. You can name one player on their defense. One effing player. And we got. Now, let me tell you this: if you were playing a competent team that game in
What is
Germany,
going on?
this game would have been a blowout. Okay, it would have been a blowout. They gave the Panthers the ball inside like the 40-yard line. They couldn't do a damn thing with it. So if this team had anything worth of salt, this game would have been a blowout. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, second quarter goes by, Giants doing absolutely nothing. And I'm like, yo, how are the Panthers beating the Giants 10-0 right now? Ran the ball down their throat the first half. Absolutely. If you want to talk about a clinic, that guy had a clinic on Sunday. That guy just ran from pillar to post, man. That's what he did. First half, we couldn't block a damn nosebleed. They come out in the second half, and I'm like, huh, we're going to definitely do something. And they march right down the field. They marched right down the field. 90-yard fucking drive the Panthers had to go up 17-7 after you scored. 17-7. Mind you, you've already thrown a red zone interception. Thank you, Daniel Jones. Thank you so much for going overseas and having one of the worst performances of your career. Because right now, that I'll get to him in a minute. But so now we're down. Here I am. Boom. Here we go. And then what do the Giants do? They do this all the freaking time. They get back in the second half. They're jabbing and John. Tracy makes a great run. Oh my God, the game is tied. I'm like, this can't be happening. I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Giants are going to beat this team. We're going to get here, but the quarterback still was ass. So we'll get to him in a minute. So now the game is tied. The game is fucking tied. I'm like, oh great. This game is going to end in a tie. How ridiculous was that? But so now the Giants, obviously, they get the ball. And I'm like, well, maybe the Giants will score here. And what do? Just like Max said at the beginning and is open, they find a way to lose. A'Shawn Robinson, who we didn't want to pay, decides to punch the ball out. Game over. Good night, the lights. Eddie Pinheiro, who's been one of the worst kickers in the NFL, hits a game-winning field goal. They walk off in Germany in overtime and beat us. And I am stunned. My jaw is to the floor. Why is my jaw to the floor? And why am I even sad? Why do I even care about being sad? I'll tell you why. Because we just hit rock bottom. That's what that was. There was one thing to go in there predetermined. It's like wrestling. You think everything's predetermined. You go in there, you know who the winner is. Well, that's what we thought. And then you come out and find out, and the swerve happens on you, and you realize what we lost. How did we lose? Oh, wait, we had 2 red zone interceptions. We missed the fucking field goal. We couldn't fucking stop the run to save our lives against the worst team in football. And here we are. A fucking loss to the 2-7
it does not.
Carolina Panthers. and let me get to the quarterback real quick. Let me get to this bum. This bum, who, by the way, all of you people who wanted me to do an apology and wanted me to write down and threaten my life for all this shit, you need to sit up in your chairs right now because I got something to tell you. Okay, y'all can all line up behind me and kiss the cheeks. Okay, as I'm standing down on this mountaintop that I've been telling you about this whole goddamn time. Okay, the island of irrelevancy is now fucking relevant because of me. Okay, thank you very much. You know why? Because he played the worst game I've ever seen him play in the history of him being a Giant. The worst game. This is a game where we thought Daniel Jones was going to come out and do what Daniel Jones normally does against bad teams. Thrive. And then we talk about it for a week about, like, oh, he's great. He's not great. Get rid of him. Year 7. All that bullshit that comes with it. Well, guess what? That door is shut. Okay? He is done. If you didn't think he was done now, it is done now. Okay? He should not be on the field when they return against Tampa Bay. Otherwise, Brian Dable, you might as well have stayed in Germany because that was an abysmal. How do you miss a guy? How do you miss 2 guys open on a flea flicker? Everyone's talking about the play call. Oh, the flea flicker. You know what happens to good teams? They take a chance on 3rd and 1. Here, let me paint you a picture with the Eagles real quick. The Eagles were at 3rd and 22. You know what they did? They threw a fucking touchdown pass to the end zone. You know what we do at 3rd and 1? We do a fucking screenplay that's 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage to get sacked. That's what we normally fucking do. So you know what we did? We decided to take a fucking chance. Let's do it. 3rd and 1. If we miss it, we're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? You know? What could? I don't know. You have 2 guys who are fucking open. So open, the Grand Canyon was small compared to these guys. That's how open you could have picked your guy. They would have both been walking in for a touchdown. You have Malik Neighbors at the top and Wando Robinson at the bottom. All you have to do is get the flea flicker and bang. What are your eyes looking at? You're literally not even looking in the direction of the receiver. You're not even looking in the direction of the receiver. You're looking on the opposite.
Wanda Robinson was so wide open, it was ridiculous. Wanda Robinson might have scored a touchdown. He was so wide open, it was ridiculous.
They had already left their break by the time you're looking at where they're supposed to be. He's standing there, and they have already gone and ran the post, and he's still sitting there like, oh, are they supposed to run a hitch? Like, what are you doing? Open. You could have, a blind squirrel could have thrown that pass. Are you kidding me? It's bang. Ooh, you practice it every day. And what are you doing? It's not the most egregious play, but god damn it, it's one of the most egregious plays I've ever seen. Like, how do you miss that? How do you have two guys schemed open? Two guys schemed up. And this is what I'm talking about. This has happened for 6 years. 6 years. And you know what? I'm going to move off the quarterback because he's a doofus anyways. All right. That guy should never play another down for the Giants. I don't care what anybody tells me. You're not gonna give me this bullshit. Yeah, Dable's got to go too because he sucks at just being an overall leader of men. That's why he needs to go. You're benching and not benching Deontay Banks. Like, what the fuck are you doing? The only reason he goes back on is Cordell Flock gets injured. So you're like, well, oh, fuck me. Go back in there. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? This team needs a full fucking reset. It's not even funny. And Joe Shane, I'm gonna let Mac handle Joe Shane because you spineless twit don't know how to fucking had the foresight to see what the fuck is going on with your team. What you're going on with your team? You have this vaunted pass rush. You ain't got no linebackers. You ain't got fucking DBs that are worth the shit. We have one interception the entire year. One interception the entire year. And it's not even by a DB. It's by a linebacker who doesn't even play on Sundays on a regular basis. Put that through your head. A fucking 6th-round rookie pick who barely plays on Sundays has our interception. This is a dumpster fire. And I'll let Mac handle whatever he needs to handle with Joe Shane because I don't even want to talk about that guy, that fucking incompetent, because that motherfucker took a luxury pick at number 6, and that's why we're in this fucking mess right now. All you Malik Neighbors lovers, all that weapon before bullshit, before quarterback. How do you feel right now? We don't even have anything in the pipeline to look at because you guys wanted Malik Neighbors. You wanted the sexy pick. Ooh, let's get the receiver. He'll make our dumbass quarterback better. Well, guess what? He didn't because that guy is still running open in Germany right now. He's still looking for the pass. He's still wondering what the hell's going on. And Wando Robbins is getting pissed too. All 3 men got pissed on that play. You see Dable get pissed. You see Malik Neighbors get pissed. And you see Wando Robinson get pissed. And the only one who's not pissed is Daniel Jones.
Wando Robinson was angry as shit.
Oh my God, he was living. He knew it was a touchdown, and this guy's getting buried by a fucking lineman. He had time. It's not like the line was in his face. It was like in slow motion. Like, throw the ball, Daniel. Throw the ball. No, sack. So that was the epitome of the play. And I'm done talking about the game because this team has me in my feelings because I did not think I'd be this sad. But when you lose to the worst team in football, when I say the worst team in football, they barely have a team. Go look at their roster. You can barely name anybody. And here we come, the New York fucking Giants, and we can't fucking close it out. We got a rookie crying on the sideline because he fumbled. Great job, great leadership. Way to go, guys. Fucking guys crying on the sideline. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, what up first though? What's going on? Coles, man. Look, brother. Y'all, that's how bad the Giants are, man. You can try, even if you try to give us the game, we're not going to take it, brother. That's just how bad this team is. This team is at that point right now. It's rock bottom, bro. You can't even give this team a fucking W because several other teams this season have tried to do that already, bro. I don't know if you've noticed the Giants seen many of the Giants games. Several. I mean, not even just them though. Several of the opponents this season have tried to give the Giants the game. It's not happening. This team is terrible. It's absolutely ass. I can't even with this squad, man. Forget the game because the game is just ridiculous enough as it is. Lose to the Carolina Panthers. That's a joke. You can't be taken seriously when you lose to the Carolina Panthers. You know what I mean? That's it. That's a joke. You're a joke. But Daniel Jones.
Uh-oh.
I'm done. I'm at. That's it. Cord is all the way cut. There's no repairing it. It's done. After this bye week, if I see Daniel Jones trotting out on that field as the starting quarterback for the New York Giants against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I will not watch another down in New York Giant football this season. I promise you I won't. I will come on here each and every Wednesday. I'll watch some highlights. I'll do the show with Adam for sure. Content will still be rolling, but I'm not watching another down of that shit if he goes trotting out as a starting quarterback for the New York Giants against the Buccaneers coming off this bye week. I have seen all I need to see of that shit. Bring Drew Lock out there, start Drew Lock, And here's how you want to know how I really feel. Start Drew Lock, have Tommy DeVito be the backup, and Daniel Jones is now relegated to emergency third string quarterback. I don't need to see any more of that shit. I don't need to see any more of that.
Oh, this is great.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Brian Dable, Daniel Jones, Joe Shane, won't y'all go somewhere? Go get your little own island. Get your own little island somewhere. Start your own football team and fuck that all up. Do what you want with your own football team. Don't get that shit out of here. Don't destroy this team because this is a mess. Everything that's going on with this team right now is a mess. Joe Shane, that press conference yesterday, boy, I never seen somebody dodge questions the way you was, man. You was just dodging them questions, man. Like, bro, they was coming at you. They was asking you directly. I can't remember who it was. They said ask you, do you have any regrets on how you handled the quarterback situation in the offseason? The approach you took on the quarterback situation? You know what Joe Shane responded with immediately? Because first initial response is, "Oh, you mean just specifically just the quarterback?" Yes, motherfucker, that's what they asked you. The quarterback situation. They're not speaking a foreign language. You know exactly what they're asking you.
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say?
Like, you know what they're asking you. At least man up and say, I should listen to my kids. I fucked up. You know what I mean? Say that. You know what I mean? Because everybody already know you did. It's clear as day that you did. But look, I don't know. At this point, I just could. That shit was just a half hour of just absolute pure laughter. Joe Shane looked so squeamish, so uncomfortable. He didn't know what to do, man. They were firing away at his ass.
It's funny because I think he thought they were going to win, right? So he's probably going in thinking we're going to beat the Panthers. It's going to be an easy breezy fucking. It's just injured. Daniel, he probably was thinking what we were thinking. Daniel Jones going to play good. Oh, look at Daniel. I told you guys, just injuries. That's what it is. But no. When you get a mud hole stomped in your backside on a team, and let's be honest, people, it was dominating the first half. Okay, dominating. The Carolina Panthers took it to the New York Giants the first half. If they were competent, the game wouldn't even have been close. That's how bad we are. And Mac is right. I don't care how bad Drew Lock is. I don't care how bad Tommy DeVito is. I'm just done looking at DJ. Listen.
Exactly. You don't need to see any
I understand.
More of that.
Listen, Drew Lock may get us the first pick too. Don't act like Drew Lock is this guy that's going to be a savior. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what's up, Alex?
I don't need to see. The problem is, why would I want to see Daniel Jones? Yeah, sure, get the first round pick, but I'm not waiting 7 games for that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not. He's good because the problem with Daniel Jones is he's going to rise up like a phoenix. You need to rip the Band-Aid off right now. I don't care if you call bad plays and cost them the game. You can still tank without tanking, if you know what I mean. Okay? And they need to get rid of Daniel Jones because fucking Joe Shane's press conference basically said, without saying it, it's the quarterback and we need to make a change. And if those motherfuckers don't make a change, they're going to be fired. So you might as well make a change and see what the fuck happens. This team is going to be in the top 5 drafting. Don't worry. Don't you worry about that. Don't you worry your little head about that.
Absolutely.
We are going to be in the top 5. Hell, we'll might be number 1 after this because I'll tell you this right now. Tampa Bay, and might as well just get into the game right now before you go to the kick it because I can't hold back. Tampa Bay is on a bye week too. Those motherfuckers are going to come off rested, angry because they dropped games to teams that they probably should have won. And good teams, Kansas City, Atlanta, big time teams they dropped games to that they were in. They're going to look at us and our disgrace of a fucking football team, and they're going to look at themselves and their schedule is pretty favorable going forward. And if we win this game, we can get right back in the race. Because it's bad enough that you lost to the Panthers who got dominated by Tampa Bay. But you don't want to be the team now that loses to the Giants. Because the Panthers that beat the Giants, they're not the worst team. The worst team in football right now, you can argue with your mama, it's the New York Giants, okay? I don't care about any of that shit. You can tell me the Tennessee Titans, no. No, New York Giants are the worst team in football. So if I'm Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there is no way I'm losing to the worst team in football. I'm going in there and I'm kicking their fucking ass and I'm burying them. I don't care if Drew Lock's out there dancing to Young Jeezy or whatever the fuck he dances to. I don't care. I just don't want to see fucking Daniel Jones out there. Matt, you could be the quarterback. I don't care. They're not going to win that many games. You look around the league. How many backup? How good is our backup quarterback room? Do you really have faith that Drew Lock can come in there and run the fucking table? Like, are you kidding me? He's going to win maybe a game.
I mean,
and that's a game. Every team that we play is better than us.
Hey.
Every team. This was our softball layup. The Saints are a better defense and quarterback than us. The fucking Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than us. The Cowboys always find a way to ram it up our ass. Okay? You don't think they're going to fucking play hard on Thanksgiving? Jerry's going to be at that game. There's going to be nothing but pressure. Don't lose to the fucking Giants. Don't lose to the fucking Giants. You know, you lose to the Giants. Mike McCarthy may not make it to Thanksgiving. He may not make it home. He may be fired right there. Jerry's going to come down and be like, eat your turkey leg and get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Don't lose the Giants. And then you got these other teams. You got Atlanta Falcons. They're going to be fucking fighting for the playoffs. They're going to want to stomp a mud hole in your ass on their way to fucking what they're going to do, right? Then you have the Colts. Who knows who's going to be saying? Maybe we win against the Colts. Yeah, their defense is pretty good. And our quarterbacks are shitty, and we can't get a receiving core to do fucking anything. Jalen Hyatt is making plays, but he's not on the field. Evan Neal's a problem, but he doesn't see the field. Only he had his best blocking day of the year. I mean, what is going on with this team? Just absolutely unequivocally.
Evan Neal was the highest graded offensive lineman for the New York Giants on Sunday. The highest graded offensive lineman for the Giants was Evan Neal on Sunday. Just saying. And that just further lets you know the incompetency of these guys. It's just they're incompetent, man. And it's really just tearing this team apart. I mean, Joe Shane, you think like he thinks this locker room is all together. Like they haven't lost this locker room. Like this locker room is lost, bro. You don't have there's no more control. There's no more control of this shit.
They don't give defense.
A fuck.
They don't play on defense.
The defense just stopped playing. They just decided we're not going to do it anymore. The offense ain't doing shit. We're not going to do shit.
They gave up 200 yards of offense, of rushing offense to the Carolina Panthers, the worst team in football. See, people here, this is what I'm going to tell you right now, okay? This is the worst loss. This is worse than the fucking Joe Judge running the ball in the back, up the back 3 times and punting against Commanders. You know why? Because at least that team was sucky. We knew Joe Judge was on his fucking way out. You motherfuckers lost to the worst team in football. They don't have any, but go check their roster. They have nobody on it. They just gave their receiver to the Cowboys for a 4th-round pick. They're only like veteran receiver. This is what I mean. You go out there and that's the effort you get in the first half. Your captain, my captain, Daniel fucking Jones, who got the fucking angry run scepter. That's the last fucking trophy he's gonna get.
Sack Bryce Young one time. One
time. Vaunted pass rush.
Did they get the Bryce Young?
Once.
It's absolutely.
That's terrible.
Abysmal.
That's terrible, Mac. Absolutely
terrible.
One time. Where's Okereke? Oh, I don't know. Getting blocked by a fucking tackle. Getting blocked by a tackle.
O, man, not having the season he had a year ago. I'll tell you that. It's just not looking like the same guy from a season ago.
Isaiah Simmons, he has one highlight. That was a block kick in Seattle. Thanks for nothing. I hate this team.
I don't know anymore.
I hate this team. This team, I hate them. Okay? I hate them. You have made me hate football, New York Giants.
Like I said, just don't try Daniel Jones out the tunnel as a starting quarterback. Like I said, he needs to just be the number 3 emergency guy at this point. I'm over it. We don't need to see anything.
Make him the janitor.
What more is there? What more is there to see? What do you need to still see from Daniel fucking Jones? You don't need to see shit from him because you've seen what he is. We've seen exactly what this guy is. And it's not, and it should not be the quarterback for the New York Giants. I mean, it's been 6 years too long now. 6 years? How do you just fuck up for 6 years and get to keep your job? How are you bad at your job for 6 years and continue to have it? They just accept you being. Not only do they accept you being regular, they actually give you more money for your mediocrity.
15 touchdowns I heard was a lot. You know how many Burrow has? 24. Lamar Jackson, 24. Freaking Baker Mayfield, 24. Oh, my God. But 15 touchdowns? Are you kidding me?
For the whole season. That's for the whole season.
Right. They have 24 and there's still 7 games to go. Still 7. Sam Darnold has over 20 touchdowns, and there's still 7 games to go. It's mind-blowing how we got caught up in this mess where we look across the league and we're like, now he fucking sucks. Yeah, now it hits you on the head after you lose to Carolina. You're like, oh, maybe we do suck. Maybe we should think about that.
It's just, to me, it's just that shit only. You tell me what other team in this league right now would Daniel Jones still be the starting quarterback for after what he's done in his career?
There are no other teams that will be starting him right now.
Only the New York Giants can't make this shit up. It's embarrassing at this point.
And the last thing I'll say about this,
I guess I'd rather just watch Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. I'd rather just watch them guys at this point.
Well, the one thing I will say about this is I don't want to hear about this fucking quarterback situation in the draft anymore. I don't want to hear that shit. Oh, well, you can't get anybody because it's a lower class. They made this bed. Now you go fix it. You go in there and you identify who the top fucking quarterbacks are, and you fucking pick one for this franchise. And then, but what's going to happen when they fucking get fired next year? Who cares? You draft another fucking quarterback. That's what the hell you did a rookie wage scale for. Okay? That's what you did it. Sam fucking Bradford had fucking $60 million to do a goddamn thing. You know what the NFLPA did? They're like, maybe we should make a rookie wage scale so guys who fucking suck, we can get out of their contracts, i.e. Jamarcus Russell, i.e. Sam Bradford. So out of the fucking, i.e. fucking every other fucking first round pick who sucked, Trey Lance gets traded. Or the fucking 49ers hurting financially for that quarterback? Give me a break. Okay, I'm tired of this bullshit that we sit here and say, oh, we can't take a quarterback and we don't do. No, the Giants haven't invested in quarterback in 6
Cardinals took
years.
Josh Rosen one season and took Kyler Murray the very next season, both in the first round. Just like that. Didn't even bat an eye.
And then Michael Penix Jr. Oh, by the way, how about Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes? People do it all the fucking time, but no, we want to sit here and reinvent the fucking wheel. We're not going to invest anything in the position because, oh, guess what? In 2018 or 2017, we drafted Kyle Aletta and Davis Webb. Those are the last 2 fucking drafted quarterbacks we got, and because of that fucking shit stains, we're like, oh, let's not draft anything behind a guy who's fucking injury prone.
I want to go back
up here. Not one GM did anything. We had 2 GMs in this fucking place, and not one invested in the quarterback except for Dave Gettleman, and he didn't get anybody else. You drafted 2 quarterbacks to replace Eli Manning. No, fucking 3. Fucking Nassib, Davis Webb, and Lauletta. Fucking Daniel Jones gets nothing. He gets Colt McCoy, Mike Glennon, and Jake Fromm. Give me a break.
Look, let's go back up here with Alex's comment, man, because it's so true. I mean, Shane, this is the irresponsibility of Joe Shane, and this came up in a press conference as well yesterday. Shane, when he built this quarterback room, it seems like purposely, just so there was absolutely no competition for Daniel Jones, because it came up in a press conference yesterday where they were directly asking, why didn't you maybe take a more serious offer at some of the better veteran quarterbacks? You had, like you said, you had Russell Wilson come into the building. You didn't really make a serious offer to him. You said they mentioned Jameis Winston, and it's just like you had options out there, Joe Shane. You definitely had options out there. Hell, Ryan Tannehill sitting on his fucking couch somewhere is still better than Daniel Jones right now. That guy's not even fucking working.
I could take Terry Bradshaw. I'm probably
so there was definitely options out there. That's what I mean. It was irresponsible the way things were handled.
Right.
Irresponsible.
Very bad.
Because there were definitely better options. and things you could have done. If it's about football and making this team better, then there was options to make this team better. And you fucked it all up.
Well, you know what it is, Mac? I don't know if it's a competition, if it's the right word, but it's more of the hanging cloud over the head. Because if they brought in Tyrod Taylor and the season was awry, he would be benched already. But because it's Drew Lock and all this bullshit, Drew Lock is less of a threat, so to speak. But we still want to see him anyways. Right? You paid him money. You gave him that accelerated contract. We knew he was going to come here. This is the problem that I have with the whole situation. You and me, from our couches and our computer screen, could see what the fuck is going on. And we don't get paid millions of dollars. We said, don't run it back. We said, draft the quarterback at 6. It doesn't matter. Get J.J. McCarthy. Get Spencer Rattler. Get a guy in here. Do something. Get something that you can have on the pipeline, right? Because at the worst case scenario, you would have had a backup quarterback, if all things considered. Because, Brian Dable's a QB guru, according to many out there, right? That's the reason why we got him, to fix another Duke quarterback, right? Just like Jim Fossil, who couldn't fix another Duke quarterback because they're dumb. So what he did was, they've done it with everybody. They even did it with Eli back in the day, but Eli Manning at least justified why you don't need to bring a fucking backup quarterback in. That's worth it assault, because the guy was fucking Iron Man. This guy gets injured every year, and we're like, yeah, let's get fucking Colt McCoy and then bring in fucking Mike Glennon. And then we go worse. And then we bring in Tyrod Taylor to be a bridge, and then we let him walk out the door because we don't want to pay him money. So then we go get Drew Lock, a guy who is unassuming, won a couple games, kind of has the same track record as Daniel Jones, but is a non-threatening. You got a non-threatening quarterback in here. Well, Joe Shane, you reap what you sow. Okay? You get rid of a fucking $12 million running back who goes to the Eagles and is shining and thriving over there. So your fucking $40 million dunce cap of a quarterback can lead you to battle. And then you don't bring anybody in as you sit there on Hard Knocks and tell us we gotta hedge our bets for injury. You didn't even bring in a pick after that. You talked out of both sides of your mouth at Hard Knocks. 1 minute you're like, the plan is for Daniel Jones. And the next thing you said in that same fucking breath is, we got a plan for the future. Well, you didn't, because he said the past is an indicator of the future. So we got a plan for it, right? Well, what he should have said was, look how bad this guy was for 5 fucking years. Maybe we should get a quarterback in here because it doesn't look like out of 5 years he's going to be good again. You should have taken your own words and fucking heeded your advice. Because now here we are sitting here like dunce caps on our heads. Because the quarterback we're bringing out, nobody cares that if anybody thinks Drew Lock is winning a lot of games with this team, you're wrong. He's going to have problems, and but it's going to be Drew Lock out there and not fucking Daniel Jones. And that's what we want. And we wanted it for 6 years, some of us more. But the fact that you put shitty product behind Daniel Jones in free agency, and then you didn't even invest in 3 drafts, anybody in there, as you just said, history is a precursor to the future, right? Well, you didn't put any resources or investment in. The one guy you invested in walked out the door, and you didn't want to give him money, so you went less cheap because you want to coddle the starting quarterback because you signed him. Listen, all you had to do, Joe Shane, was say the plan was to give Daniel Jones his fucking 2 years to see what he can do. I fucked up. We're going to move on. We're going to evaluate everything going forward and go from there. People respect that shit. I'm done with this team. Let's move on. Let's move on from this fucking shitty ball club.
This team here. But yeah, I concur, man. Let's just do it, because this Giants team, guys, are just awful.
They're not worth anything.
Giant football I've ever witnessed in my life. In my lifetime as a Giants fan, this goes back quite a while. This is the absolute,
and it's only going to get worse, people.
Shit I ever seen.
It's
painful to watch the players that you just took for granted and let walk away without even so much as offering them serious offers, just watching what they're doing in their new teams. I mean, Julian Love playing at all-pro level out there in Seattle. Xavier McKinney just killing it in Green Bay. And do we need to talk about what the real 26 is doing in Philly?
We don't. Imposter you brought in.
Because it's quite quite ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous. And you just let all that just walk out the door. No compensation for any of it. It's just an incompetence at all, starting right from the top, man, with this team, and it's just terrible right now. I mean, something has to happen. Something big has to change with this football team. But like I said, if you even think about trotting Daniel Jones back out on that field, I cannot do it anymore for this 2024 season. I can't watch giant football if that guy is going to be under center because there's nothing more we need to see from Daniel Jones. Nothing more at all. I don't need to see this fucking 6-year veteran still out here missing wide open receivers all day long. You can hate the play calling all you want. The execution is also lacking severely. I mean, the play calling is not great, but there are still plays to be made.
What if that goes for a touchdown? What are you saying then?
Exactly.
You're not going to say it's bad play calling. You're like, oh, look, they took a chance.
I mean, exactly.
He drew it up and it worked. The play worked. Our quarterback just was looking the other way. I mean, you can't.
I don't know what he's looking at.
Oh, God. No wonder he threw the tablet at him.
The fact that okay, he missed the two wide open receivers, but the fact that he doesn't even throw the ball away in any capacity, he just takes the sack on 3rd and 1 right there. 3rd and 1, just take the sack. That's what a 6-year veteran quarterback did in that situation. It wasn't like it was like an all-out blitz where they just got there, like you said, immediately. Like it was just like it wasn't. No, you could have. The good quarterbacks make that play.
The smart
10 out of 10 times. Exactly. They don't take the sack on 3rd and 1. Listen, they don't take the sack on 3rd and 1 in that situation.
I know we don't want to talk about rookie quarterbacks, but I watched a highlight of Bo Nix on an NFL channel on one of these free streaming services like Pluto. They just have NFL highlights, and they were doing like Rookie of the Year, right? And they were showing Jaden Daniels and all the rookies that are doing well. Malik Neighbors was in there. They showed Bo Nix. So Bo Nix is in there, and I forget what game it was, but there's a guy that literally is about to sack him, and he ducks the guy. I think it was against Seattle, and he makes the man miss the tackle, and he runs for the first down. Okay, he understood there was a guy coming at him who was about to clobber him, ducked the tackle, and ran for the first down. What does our quarterback do? He stands there as if he's the Statue of Liberty with a book in one hand and a torch in the other, just trying to usher people in on the Hudson River. That's what that motherfucker was doing. Okay, he was just standing there. Mac, you just said it. A good quarterback makes that play. Gardner Minshew probably throws that into the dirt at least. The last thing you do,
exactly,
the 6-year veteran, is you're probably playing 2 downs at that point, right? Because it's 3rd and 1. If you don't fuck up, you're going for it on 4th and 1, which is probably a tush push or a run. All you had to do, if there was nobody open or you got scared or you panicked, is throw the ball away. But and that's what situational awareness is. Instead, you stood there looking at the opposite side saying, why aren't my guys there? Oh, because they're on the other side of the field where the play actually is happening, not where you thought they were going. And the worst part about the flea flicker back is he hands the ball off, and you have a second to survey the defense before you get the ball back. So you had ample time to read the defense. Ample time to read the defense. And you still couldn't execute the play. And you know what? I'm actually glad that happened. You know why? Because it's a culmination of what we saw. People needed to see it firsthand in a game against a shitty ball club. Against a shitty ball club. That we go, well, the guys aren't open. No, these guys were open. They were wide open. They were running the New York City Marathon. That's how open they were. Okay, we couldn't get it done.
Absolutely. Wanda Robinson is scoring a touchdown if you just threw the ball to him on that play. He's scoring a touchdown. Absolutely scoring a touchdown if you just hit him. He was wide open. It made no sense. But like you said, enough is enough. Let's get to a good game in the NFC East on from the NFC East on Sunday. Washington Commanders hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a tough day for the Washington Commanders. Pittsburgh's a very tough defense. Came in, made it really tough for Jaden Daniels. Really couldn't get things going the way we've seen him thus far this season, man. But all in all, Washington still once again goes down swinging and took the L here at home, 28-27 in a nail biter, man. It was really one of the better games Sunday afternoon. But yeah, what's your thoughts on this one, Adam?
Listen, as it was a nail biter, they still had a chance to win the game. Their defense is out there. They gave up, on the 4th-and-1 play, they gave up 5 yards. So who knows what would have happened, on that play. They had a chance, and, they went toe-to-toe. This is the type of game we talked about last week. I said, this is what you wanted to see out of Washington. You wanted to see them hang with this team, and they did. And if anything is anything, that it's good to see. Yeah, sure, it sucks they lost to an AFC team. It means you can hang with any team in the league right now because the Pittsburgh Steelers are shifting their focus from being a playoff team to now they're telling you a Super Bowl contender. Okay, so you are now in that stratosphere of teams where people are gonna respect you. They're like, oh shit, you went toe to toe with one of the best, and you lost by a point. Yes, did they give you fits? You still scored 27 on that good defense. The Giants couldn't score 27 on that defense. You did. You've averaged that your last few games. This is the kind of game that Jaden Daniels is going to learn from. He's been in big spots before. The moment wasn't too big for him. Did he see everything? Did they throw different things at him? Yes. But did they hang in there and make plays? Absolutely. They got Marshawn Lattimore. Why? Because they're a team that's trying to ascend. So they're getting a cornerback still in his prime who's pretty good, who's disgruntled in New Orleans, who's having a horrible season. So they're bringing him in for hopefully the playoff run, and then maybe they can shift some guys around and go for defense. Next year, you're going to see this team be in games like this. This was a good test for them. Now the real fun begins. Now the real fun begins because you got away with it against Pittsburgh this week. You get away with it against Baltimore. You ain't going to get away with it this week. You can't hide it this week. This week you got to come to play. And I think this is what they needed. Sometimes you need a loss to kind of go back and study the tape a bit and say, okay, what did we do wrong? How did we get to this position? Why did we end up losing by 1 point? What things can we clean up going forward? Now, obviously, every game is a different matchup, but what it means is, and I don't want to say moral victories in the NFL. That's not what I'm talking about. What you need is critiquing in the NFL. You have to praise guys when they do things good, and you have to reprimand them when they do, obviously, things bad. So if they did something bad here, you want to say, okay, look, we hung with this team. Let's clean it up, and now we can stamp our stamp on it and win this game. Right now, take what you learned against Pittsburgh and apply it to next week. Otherwise, if you get blown out next week, then you've learned nothing, and you're going to be called frauds by many. You can't, you got to take what you learned and go here now. Did we expect this? Are they allowed to have some hiccups? Yes. Did we think it was? Hell, they probably should have lost to the Bears, but the Hail Mary happened, right? The Giants, they lost that game. They almost lost that game, but they really didn't. They dominated most of the game, right? That game wasn't even close. And then you play Pittsburgh and you lose by a point. And do I think you're bad? No, I think you hung with a really good team. Like I said, a team that's going to be fighting, like most are seeing as it's growing for they're going to say Super Bowl. You're going to start to hear those words in the Steelers combined. That's what you're going to start to hear. So if you can go toe-to-toe with them in Baltimore and only lose by what? A couple points against Baltimore and a couple points against Pittsburgh, I still respect what the Commanders did, and good effort for them. I know I don't believe in, those moral victories or anything like that, but in this case, for what they're doing, it was good to go toe-to-toe with the best. Now you got to see if you can, be on the winning end of those games instead of the losing end.
Yeah, pretty much you summed it up right there. Perfectly said. Quite honest. It's still a young team. They're still coming together. Still learning. And one thing that was cooking in this game was that connection that's between Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Once again, Terry McLaurin's numbers: 5 catches for 113 yards on the day. Man, it's just he's been unleashed once again. Man, he's
loving
come
it.
back alive. and you can see it. Yeah, absolutely. His play on the field, he's becoming once again just an absolute dominant receiver in this league. I mean, he kind of lost his edge over the course of the last couple of years with the bad quarterback play in Washington, but now
Oh,
I
could
guess
you
his
blame
legs
him?
come back to life, and that nickname Scary Terry is once again a very real thing. Once again, man, he's back out there balling, just huge plays down the field, and it seems like every game it seems like every game is just it's just big plays. I mean, as long in this game was a 52-yarder. Like, look at the Giants' offense. Like, what receiver on the Giants has a 50-plus yard catch this season? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous, man. Well, when you just see like the difference, competence at the quarterback position. Like, I know people keep saying, "Oh, Giants are not a." I'm sorry to make this about the Giants again, but I just can't help it. I kind of did slip right back into this trap again, but people keep trying to tell me, "Oh, this Giants team is not just a quarterback away." I'm not saying it's just a quarterback away, but you got to start with you got to get the guy, and you got to know
Hey,
you had a guy, and
he
and and
referenced
and, and,
C.J.
and
Stroud, by
then
the way. Just saying.
and then things can just continue to grow, man. I mean, it's just like I said, this Washington team, man, they're going to be still. All right. I think they're going to still be swinging, and they got a big one coming up this week. We'll be talking about that in a few, but this Washington team has definitely been impressive, and even in defeat, even in their, I mean, in the games that they've gone down in, man, like this team, they haven't just they go out swinging. Like I said, they're not laying down. This team is punching. They
Proud
punch
of their head
back,
coach.
man, and they just and they just came up a little bit short this week, unfortunately. And that's just how it goes sometimes, from time to time, man. It's just going you gotta take those with take the good times with the bad times, man. So that's pretty much all I got with this game here, man. It was definitely the most competitive game for the NFC East division this past weekend, for sure, and it was the best game, for sure. But get to the next one, and that wasn't a bit of a laugher down in Dallas. I thought the Cowboys would come out a little more fired up, a little bit with a little more, a little more passion at home,
Well, they
taking on the
did.
division rival Philadelphia Eagles. And all they did was make the Eagles. Eagles probably put together their best performance of the season collectively. Philadelphia Eagle team absolutely just took it to the Dallas Cowboys. This game was never really competitive at all at any point. What you got on this one, Adam?
Well, I believe the Cowboys had a shot in the first quarter, first half. You get a turnover inside their red zone. You can only come away with 3 points. You stall again in their red zone. You come away with only 3 points. I think the defense did their best to keep their team in the game for the first half, at least. And then the second half, it just was too much to overcome. I mean, Cooper Rush looked like Daniel Jones out there. Oh my God, that's going to become a thing now. Cooper Rush looked like Daniel Jones out there, like throwing interceptions behind receivers. To me, I probably would have put in Trey Lance, to be honest with you. I think it gives the team a little bit more juice, and you got him for a fourth-round pick. You might as well see what he can do. I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting, against the Giants in 2 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets, the second half snaps when they play a game this week. I don't think he's going to be better, but we already know what Cooper Rush can do. He's not going to allow you, if you want to have some type of balance with your offense, bring in Trey Lance, scale the playbook back down for him, run some plays that he can run. Your offensive line's decent. You can essentially make him your running back, and he can get some yards for you and do some things that Dak couldn't do or Dak doesn't like to do, and kind of do that. If I was the Cowboys, that's what I would do. How to solve your problem. I'm not saying Trey Lance is great at all, but give him the first team reps.
He's not.
Let him play with these receivers. Huh?
I was saying he's not. Yeah, he's not. He's not great at all by no means.
But at least he has more
Trey
talent than
Lance.
Cooper Rush, and he gives me a dimension that both my other quarterbacks don't. And that's the ability to run. And so, to me, you got him for a fourth round. I mean, if you're going to lose the game anyways, why not lose with the better talent on the field, right? So, I think you'll see Trey Lance, sooner rather than later. I wouldn't be surprised. You saw him in this game already, so they already benched Cooper Rush. And to me, like I said, if I'm Mike McCarthy, you're probably playing for your next job, right? Somewhere. If you don't want this to be your last. I mean, this year is going to be a lot of coaches out there from different teams or from different walks of life. I hear Gruden wants to come back. I hear Rex Ryan wants to come back. I hear a lot of teams want to a lot of coaches want to make comebacks. Pete Carroll's got the itch. You're going to have some good selection out there. So if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm still trying to finish this season on a high note to give myself a chance to possibly get with the team here. And I wouldn't be surprised if he went to the New York Giants because that's just such a giant way of doing things. Fire McCarthy, he gets fired. You bring him in here, try to fucking resurrect the career of Joe Shane by because that's what they do. They fire the coach. I think the Giants are going to go with someone with experience. So there's going to be a lot of coaches out there. So, and I think the defense was played pretty stout for if they were playing a bad team like the Giants, they have a fucking chance. They play a team like the Eagles, who are looking really good, and hate to say it, their defense is starting to click a little bit. They're not the greatest defense, but they do cause pressure. They do make some plays. They do enough to win the game or not lose the game, right? Unlike certain teams. And their offense is so dynamic that they also help their defense out by scoring points. Because their defense, when they go down the field with Barkley, who's a field tilter, that's why I like to call him as a field tilter. What does that mean? Well, he can take the ball from your 10-yard line and put it on the other team's 10-yard line in a heartbeat, right? And all of a sudden, now you went from negative territory to plus territory in the blink of an eye. And they also have that at the receiver position, which it also helps out with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And their quarterback is a very aggressive mindset quarterback. So things work for them because they understand down and distance and they can score. And what that does for your defense is it allows them to make mistakes. It also allows the other team to have to play one-dimensionally and play into the strengths of what the Eagles do best, where they have a lot of DBs now, and Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Blankenship and their other safeties in there. They have a decent linebackers in Bond and Dean, and those guys can fly around to the football. And if you can allow those guys to come in on a blitz here and there, because now the teams have to pass because they have to go with the track meet that is the Eagles, when they score and they're scoring bunches, that changes your game. So don't tell me that a good offense doesn't help out a good defense. That's what happens when you do that. You can play complementary football. You can make things happen. Special people get off their guard. People take more chances because now they have to get back into the game. It tilts the field. When you run the football like the Giants, all you need is one play to break it and get into the end zone and score, because the Giants are going to eat up all their clock, right? The Eagles don't do that. That's why they're such a matchup nightmare. And we'll find out this week what they really are. But if you're looking at the Eagle team right now, they are legit contenders. Whether you like it or not, they are legit. Whether you agree with their defense being good or not, they're legit. And if they win this upcoming week, we're going to have to take them really seriously.
Well, I will say, you know how I feel about their defense. I think that's going to ultimately be their Achilles heel. But you're right; they can put up points, man, and you got to be able to score a lot of points to be able to put the Eagles away. I mean, that's just a reality. Their offense is going to do the things that they do, and this game was pretty much an explosion in the second half of offense for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I can't get over this stat line right here: 13 of 23 for 45 yards. That is the stat line of Cooper Rush on Sunday afternoon. 13 of 23 for 45 yards. How do you complete 13 passes and only have 45 yards in the NFL? That is just like, what is that? Like, I don't understand what that even is. I mean, their leading receiver, Jake Ferguson, 4 catches for 24 yards, and that led the day. That led the way for the Cowboys receiving crew on Sunday.
Wow.
4 catches for 24 yards. CeeDee Lamb, all pro, Mr. just got the bag this offseason. 6 catches for 21 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 6 catches for 21 yards. It's good to talk about another team's very bad quarterback play that's not the New York Giants. This is just like, this is, do I dare say, even worse than Daniel Jones stuff there. That's just absolutely ridiculous all in itself. But this Eagle team, in all seriousness, like you said, Adam, this is a team that you got to. I mean, Jalen Hurts came out and performed in this one, accounted for 4 touchdowns in this game, 2 in the air, 2 on the ground. Just doing big things once again with his offense and hitting the big plays down the field. Like you said, this team is going to test you on the defense, man. They're going to test your defense. AJ Brown, once again in this one, another big day for AJ Brown. 5 catches for 109 yards with a long of 44 yards, man. I mean, this team it's a week in and week out thing. Whether it's AJ Brown, whether it's Devontae Smith, they're going to test you down the field. Something the New York Giants know nothing about. But that's just neither here nor there. But we all it's but this Cowboy team is honestly, this is a team right now in absolute turmoil. I mean, Dak Prescott apparently lost for the season now, and this Cowboy team has no idea what they wanted what to do. This is a team that came into this season with big aspirations, and right now here before Thanksgiving, their season is pretty much over as well, just like the New York Giants. I mean, 3-6 going down the stretch. Washington and Eagles, I just don't see them being able to hang with either one of those two teams. So I think the Cowboys can pretty much chalk it up at this point. And with Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, I don't think you're going to get very far anyway. I mean, you just heard those numbers, like 13 and 23 for 45 yards. Like, how do you? I'm still trying to figure out how that's possible in the NFL. I can't figure that one out, man. And the fact that they can't run the ball worth a damn. I mean, this was a rough day for the Dallas Cowboys at home against this Philadelphia Eagle football team that's starting to really get a little bit of juice. Like I said, we'll see.
Doesn't
I
get
could be
easier either.
wrong, but I just really still not a believer. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I'm not a believer in this defense for this Philadelphia Eagle. I think ultimately it will be what holds them back from getting over that hump once again. But like you said, Adam, you got to put up points, man, against this Philadelphia Eagle team. No matter what, you got to be able to have the ability to score points because they're going to score points regardless because they're offensively just very very gifted. And the fact that they got Dallas Goedert back in the lineup, adding yet again another weapon back to that offense, it's it can be a lot to handle. But let's look at some games going forward this week. We got coming up this week, man. I want to save that. I want to save that. Usually we go in order, but I want to save that one for last, man. We'll just talk Washington and I mean Dallas and Houston first. In-state rival, Texas rivalry, man. This game probably initially on the schedule. You know, people probably circled it. Dak Prescott, C.J. Stroud, Battle of Texas. Let's go. You know what I mean? But you're not getting that. Getting C.J. Stroud and Cooper Rush, and this Cowboy team, which is just let's face it, pretty much god awful, and has been throughout most of this season. I mean, they could actually be down with the Giants right about now with like a 2-7 record or something like that. Honestly, as bad as this team has played throughout this season, and matter of fact, they could be too because the Giants should have beat them in week 3. Honest, I mean, or week whatever week that was, week 4, whatever. New York Giants should have took care of them and once again let the Cowboys off the hook that night. So it's this Cowboy team. They got a lot of soul searching to do because I think Jerry Jones, for whatever it's worth, is still always going to be that same old stubborn, ignorant old guy, man. That he just refuses to take his lumps, man. And I don't know if he understands realistically right now how bad his football team actually is, and if he's ready to face that, to actually face that and understand that this ain't it. It's not happening this year at all, Jerry. And you need to figure it out and do some retooling, man, because this Cowboy team is it's been probably one of the biggest disappointments this season by far. This team is just not what anybody expected it to be. We all thought this team was going to be this team, and the Eagles going toe to toe in this division. like it has been for many many years. But it's this Cowboy team did not hold up on their end, and right now they're just trying to fight off the New York Giants for third place, and that's where we're at right now in the NFC East division. But what you think about them in Houston on Sunday, Adam? Monday. That's Monday night football. Actually, that's
Well,
Monday night.
I
Houston
think the
versus
Cowboys are going to get beat. Houston has been susceptible to the last couple of games being beat by comeback fashion um, against Detroit. They had a heartbreaker, and now they have a team where they're going to face another tough test. I think this is the game you see Trey Lance come in the second half. I know I'm reading stories that Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy are butting heads. That's going to get you fired, Mike McCarthy. Even if you're not going to be fired, Cooper Rush probably doesn't give you the best chance to win. Trey Lance does because you don't have a run game. So why not give yourself a run game by having a quarterback that can run, right? And maybe get a big play because he's running on the football. Plus, you got him, and he's a free agent. Why not give him some experience and get him ready? Because Dak Prescott is getting older. You're going to need a guy to hold the fort down. Why not? That's how I look at it. Cooper Rush probably that stat line's worse than Daniel Jones, and that's terrible. And if the players see that and they know they have no chance to win when you put that guy in there with Trey Lance, maybe the defense does play a little harder, or maybe they do get a fumble. You know, the Cowboys are in rebuild mode, but the funniest part about them is they have a lot of offensive weapons and defense weapons. Whoever the coach may be that comes in next year is going to have a probably top 10, top 15 draft pick, and he's gonna be able to enhance that defense, enhance that offense. Get a second receiver in there. Get when you are drafting at the top of the draft in every round, you'll be able to select better players because you're not necessarily winning. So I think of this as a year for the Cowboys. If they get the right head coaching hire in here, that they'll bounce back next year. Obviously, they're going to get annihilated by the Houston Texans on Sunday. I'm looking forward to the game only because I want to see Stroud again. You don't get many times to see him on prime time, and I'd like to get. Hopefully, he'll put on a performance so they can bring him back again on prime time. But that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I don't think you got to worry too much about seeing C.J. Stroud on prime time going forward, man. For the years to come, I think that young man's going to have plenty of prime time appearances, brother. But yeah, I agree. I mean, Dallas Cowboys 7.5 point underdogs at home. It just seems crazy to think about that, man. More than a touchdown underdog at home for the Dallas. That's why how low the Cowboys have sunk. But I agree, man. I think
And we're worse than them.
Houston's gonna come out, jump all over them. Houston's gonna come out and jump all over them, man. I think, and I can't see it going any other way. I have no belief in this Dallas Cowboy football team at this point, especially going against a good young squad like this Houston Texans team. I know they've got a lot of injuries, especially in that receiver room, man. But C.J. Stroud is absolutely legit, and that's what it's going to come down to in this football game. Is C.J. Stroud is going to make significantly more plays than Cooper Rush or Trey Lance, whoever is out there for the Dallas Cowboys. And that Cowboy defense, I'm sure will get. I mean, that Texan defense will absolutely get after C.J. Stroud. Will Anderson is on an absolute tear, and that young man. I mean, just look at the Texans draft like a year or 2 years ago. I mean, that draft. Just go back and look at that. C.J. Stroud and then Will Anderson back to back picks. Like that's just what? And look at what it's doing. Look at what it's doing. Once again, I mean, just look what it's done for that team. Turn that team completely around. Completely. That team just went from having the number one overall pick to being in the postseason. Just like that. That's all I'm saying. Just some franchises need to pay attention to these kind of things. But I think Houston does definitely take care of business, and I don't see a letdown here on Monday night. I think they take out the Cowboys here. And we got one more to talk about. and that's the Thursday night game, Thursday night NFC East showdown, the one that NFC East fans have been waiting for. To be honest, not what we expected to be the one that we were waiting for, but this is the one we have been waiting for, right here.
We thought
The
that was last
Washington
week.
Commanders going up to going up to yeah, exactly. Going up to Philly. Take on the Eagles, man. The battle of the big dogs in the NFC East, and this will be the battle for first place in the NFC East division. And go ahead, Adam, take it away. How you see it, man? CJ
Ooh,
Stroud, Jaden
ooh, ooh,
Jaden Daniels,
ooh.
man.
I love it. This game, I hate to say this as a Giant fan, but as an NFC East fan and a content creator for the NFC East and a football fan, this game is what you want. This is what we've been waiting for as as NFC East fans. We've been waiting for teams to be good enough where we're battling for first place, where we're basically going to be deciding who's getting the home field advantage in the playoffs for the round two at least, right? Or the second spot because I don't think you're going to beat Detroit, but this team is right now. The Eagles are the number two team in the number one team in the NFC East and the number two team in the conference, which means they have a home playoff game. Right now, the Washington Redskins will be, Commanders will be traveling on the road as a 10-win, 11-win team in the wild card. Okay, this is how exciting this is. This is throwback 90s kind of football with two unexpected, well, not unexpected. One was expected, the other one was not expected in the Commanders. We thought the game last week, when we looked at the schedule, was going to be a battle for the division title. That's what we thought, Mac and I. We're like, oh, it's going to be Cowboys and the Eagles. And, I think I picked the Eagles to win and the Cowboys or whatever to be second place. And that's what you thought. Flip that script. Jaden Daniels, like Mac O has said, you want to talk about going from worst to first? They clean house and they built with solid veterans, solid coaching, and the ability to understand their personnel. And that's why they've gotten here. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to take the Eagles in this game. Why? Because they have 26. And I think they're going to Barkley's going to run all over this defense. I think the Eagles are going to impose their will offensively on this team. I think, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think you're going to get what you're going to pay for on Thursday afternoon, evening. Now, I could be wrong. And the Commanders fans can come in here and say, you jerk, you didn't believe in us. We beat the Eagles. Go look at that. Well, I'm just thinking right now, for me, the Eagles have been there before. They've been in games like this. Their mission is not just the playoffs. Their mission is to try to get the Lombardi. So that's why I'm saying right now, you lean on that experience. Look what they've done offensively. Look what they did to the Cowboys last week. I'm not saying the Commanders aren't going to have their chances. They will. Jalen Hurts can give you the football back. He tends to do that. He had a fumble in this game. He also scored 4 touchdowns in this game as well. So it's going to be about which quarterback outperforms the other. Jaden Daniels, while he is the rookie of the year, only has 9 touchdowns as opposed to Jalen Hurts has, I think, about 10, 11, 12 touchdowns, and not to mention the rushing touchdowns he had. He had 2 last week and 2 throwing. So, he's a dual threat quarterback if there is one, probably one of the best in the league that we're not talking about because of a guy like Jaden Daniels kind of taking the spotlight. I think Jalen Hurts comes in there and says, young boy, this is my house. Take a back seat. I'll see you next year.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one right here. Like you said, this as a football fan, it does suck being a Giant fan to have to, sit here and watch the success of these two teams right now. But at the end of the day, as a football fan, this is what you're talking about. Thursday night football, man. It don't get any better. Eagles Commanders, man. Who saw this
Winning.
coming as being the big game? Who saw this as the big game that we were all waiting for? NFC fans were waiting for. Jaden Daniels, man, just been dealing all season, man. I mean, this kid on the year, 180 completions and 262 attempts. Like that's just accuracy that no rookie should come in the league having, man. This kid has been on fire. I mean, you said 9 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, but I mean, he just plays clean, good, clean football, man. Jaden Daniels been lighting this thing up, and and I can't help it. I just always got to get this kid. I want to get this kid a nod, maybe because I kind of secretly want to just continue to see him succeed, man. Because I just love watching young guys like him come into the league and prosper the way they have, man. The way he has, and it's almost like the same thing with C.J. Stroud. It's almost that like I should have
Yeah.
been number one overall pick. That effect, you know what I mean? Like, see, you went with the wrong guy. You know what I mean? It's almost like that effect where he just the impact that he has right now. It's just been special with this football team, and they're coming off a tough loss in Pittsburgh against Pittsburgh on Sunday. And I just think this team has a lot of fight back. And I know the Eagles, everything we said about the Eagles, and you're right. I think they can really potentially exploit some things on some weaknesses on this Washington Commander defense is, and because you know this Eagle offense is loaded with talent. Like you said, with Saquon Barkley being the guy that he is, he could potentially assert his will against this Commander defense. But as well as AJ Brown, Devontae Smith over the top. I mean, but I still just think this Washington team, they find ways, man. They're really, like I said, really gritty, and I think they're better at that gritty kind of dirty game than the Eagles are. I think they're absolutely better at that kind of game, and if they can turn it into that kind of game and keep it that way, with Jaden Daniels playing the good, clean football that he's played, I think they got a real shot. I think they can actually take it here on Thursday night, man. I think it's once again kind of another prove it moment for them. I think a lot of people still believe that they are legitimately a good football team, but I still think they still feel like they have something to prove to themselves, and they still looking for that true signature win that seems to kind of eluding them a bit. And I think this could be the one, man. I think it really could, and it could give them an opportunity to really take a stronghold on the NFC East. As you already know, they swept the New York Giants on the season. They beat the Eagles on Thursday night. They'll be 3-0 within the division also. So that's something else they have to look forward to and strive for. But like you said, the Eagles they do present some problems, man. Offensively, like I said, I don't think the Washington defense matches up very well to this Eagle team as far as Washington's defense versus the Eagles' offense. But we will see, man. They come up with ways. Dan Quinn is not like the Eagles. The Eagles' offense is unfamiliar territory for Dan Quinn. So, like I said, only time we'll absolutely tell when we get to this game Thursday night. I'll be watching it in the airport tomorrow night, but I'm going to be watching that shit. Believe that. I'll be tuned in.
Yeah.
and
Well, you can. I don't know if they let you watch it on the plane, but figure it out. But maybe they will, because it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I like Washington here. I think I'm going to take Washington with the win Thursday night, man. Tomorrow night. I
Yeah,
think the
we're split
moment's
down the
not too
middle.
big, man. I don't think the moment's too big for this young football team. I think they go out there and they finally get that signature win that they've been looking for thus far this season that's kind of eluded them. I think they will get that on tomorrow night against this Philadelphia Eagle team, man.
Well, let me ask you
I
this,
just
and
I just believe in what I've seen from them.
I know they play a second time later on this year, right? If they win this game, Washington, are they legit contenders for the NFC East crown at that point? And do you think they're the second? Will you crown them the second best team in the conference? Because that's what they'll be.
Absolutely, because they will have earned that position. They will have earned that spot. And to be honest, what's to really question it? I mean, you looking down the NFC South, you got Atlanta. It's had their ups and downs throughout this year. Tampa Bay, the same thing. They're good football teams, but they definitely had their ups and downs. I would say Washington has been far more consistent than, for instance, both of those football teams. Even though Tampa Bay
Okay.
owns a win against Washington in Week 1, and then you go out to the NFC West, and clearly that division is we still don't really know what's going on in that division. To be honest, I mean that division is muddled up out
Oh,
there. I mean,
Arizona.
there's like seems like nobody wants to. Arizona's starting to, make a strong play for it. I'll give you Arizona. They're making a strong play for it, but that division is still it still can go a lot of different directions, man. And then the North you got Detroit, who is definitely I think the king of the mountain in the NFC right now, and then the rest, Minnesota
Green
and
Bay, both of good teams.
Green Bay. I mean, also good football teams, mind, but there's just something about this Washington football team, man. I mean, maybe I've had my eyes on them quite a bit this season. I guess I can't kind of help it. I got to look for good football somewhere because the New York Giants has given me no good football. So you know, th- this team is legit. They're for real, man. And
Let
I
me ask
really
you this.
believe they are, man. Not
Let me ask
what's
this when
up.
you're. I'm just waiting till you're finished. Whenever you're done with that point,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say
Good.
of the two
What you got?
teams, Eagles, Commanders, and now that they're technically the two best, you can even throw Minnesota in there. But for this exercise, let's just throw these two. Who do you think has a better chance to match up against the Detroit Lions? Because that's really where you're going to you beat the Eagles, and essentially Commanders can become the second best team. Do you think they're better equipped to beat the Lions, or do you think the Eagles, who have a potent offense, are better equipped to beat the Lions?
I mean, honestly, right now, I probably would lean towards the Eagles because they have the ability to put those points up with the Lions. I think Washington may not be able to get involved in a marathon with the Detroit Lions, so to speak. They're not. They don't play. They're not offensively. They're not built that way. But I don't, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, but at the same time, I still believe that this Washington Commander team will find they just find ways to stay competitive. Like I said, even with their losses on the season, man, they've been competitive. This team hasn't they haven't had like those embarrassing losses on the year, man. They've gone toe to toe with their opponents for the most part. Well, Tampa Bay kind of, but that was week one. That was week one, and they still went down swinging in that game. I mean, sure, it was slightly lopsided, I guess, if you want to say the final score, but they went down swinging in that football game. That's when you saw it. You saw that this team had something different cooking. Was it even in defeat? You saw that team. You knew something was there was something to watch, keep an eye on with this Washington Commander team, and we've seen what's happened thus far since that game, where everything where they've soared to, and right now
Well,
like they see themselves tomorrow locked in Thursday night on Amazon Prime with against the division rival Philadelphia Eagles in an absolute showdown game right now. I
I
mean,
wish they
sure,
had
there's still a
Lattimore.
lot more football to be played after this, but this is a showdown game right now for the Washington Commanders and the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night on Thursday night, and I think it's going to be an absolute dandy, an NFC East classic, man. Just what the NFC East is all about. Yeah,
Yeah,
Lattimore is a tough. It's a tough loss for the Commanders.
I like what you're saying here. Wow, their kicker's out. That's interesting. Um, I'm interested in seeing what they can do. Washington Commander fans, let me tell you this: you earned this. You deserve this. All right, you haven't had a meaningful primetime game in a long time that we can remember. Right, um, that is of this magnitude. You are now navigating your way to the playoffs, right? You have 7 wins. Your schedule is a chance for you to get more than 7 wins and kind of navigate yourself. If you happen to win this game against the Eagles, you control your own destiny going forward. No matter what happens, you will control your own destiny. Um, if you lose this game, you still can control your own destiny, and it will be a good season. But ride this hot hand. Why not? Right? Mac is right. If this team is hot, you don't know when you'll be back here. So don't let the moment get too big. Seize this opportunity and really come out swinging. Give your best shot because you never know. You never know. These two teams might meet again. You never know. They could meet again and the tables could be turned at this point, right? You're going down to Philly right now or up to Philly right now. Maybe you win this game and Philadelphia beats their team in the playoffs and maybe somebody upsets the Lions. And next thing you know, you're hosting, you know, the NFC Championship game against the Eagles, right? I mean, that isn't that something? I mean, don't let this go to waste. I still believe in the Eagles just because of experience. They've been here. I think Washington is not scared of the moment per se, but experience does matter. I believe it. I believe it will show its head here in this game. That's why I picked the Eagles. Just that alone.
Man, I can't really argue with that. I mean, like it's valid points, but I just know one thing for certain, two things for sure. This should be an absolute great football game on Thursday
One
night.
thing for
Even
certain,
though it's on a short
two
week,
things. I love that.
I think this is I think this should be a great one, man. Great NFC East.
Classic.
Get back to some good NFC East football. Should be a great football game. Just for football
Well,
fans, like I said, being a
if you like
Giants fan, it
offense,
sucks to have to watch these two teams. Why can't the Giants be locked in one of these? You know what I mean? A game for first place in the division. When's the last time we got to say that as Giant fans? Yeah, it's been a very,
oh
very
my
long
god!
time.
Don't make me laugh, Mac. Don't make me laugh. I mean, make me laugh. It's funny, but the Giants are just a sad state. I know that we're talking about the Commanders here, but it's like you sit back and you watch what they've done, and you see what they're doing. This game is great. I mean, both defenses aren't lights out. Like they're not like I wouldn't say I hate to use this term, but championship level defense, not a shutdown defense, right? They shut down bad teams. Look what they did with the Giants, right? Both teams kind of had their way, but the Commanders are a very Jekyll and Hyde defense. Sometimes they play defense, and you're like, man, they're one of the best. And they hold Chicago to like 18 points, and then they have a game like last week where they give up 28, right? So, and then you have the Philadelphia defense who, against a good offense like Green Bay, they gave up 26, or they give up 33 when they play Tampa Bay, right? So, what defense will show up and kind of make the stops necessary to get over the hump? That's what you're going to need to look at here, because offensively, you got two of the best teams offensively in the league playing right now. In terms of total yardage, both teams have solid run games. Both teams have very good above average passing games. The reason why, Mac, that we are not here or even thinking about being here or even have hope is because of how we built our team the last half a decade. Okay, no quarterback in the pipeline. Nobody believes in anything. We like to go get shiny pieces. We're doing GMing the way these teams used to do GMing back in the day, where they bought flashy players in, the Hugh Douglases, the Nnamdi Asamoahs, the Michael Vick, the Vince Youngs, all those people back in the day. They had Mark Carrier, Deion Sanders, Darrell Green, Bruce Smith for the Commanders. Like they brought in these all-star teams that had no quarterbacks, right? What has changed over the last few years? Well, guess what? They got quarterbacks, and they got quarterbacks that can play and change their franchise for the better, so that their defense they don't have to rely on being Herculean and having to win games. Their defense can go out there and just play solid. That's why these teams don't worry, because they know their offense is going to bail them out, and they know that they have a chance to get the ball back. They can build a lead and play right into what the defenses do best. And that's rush the passer and cause havoc. And so, we as NFC East content creators have been around the NFC a long time, the NFC East. We know it wins. Troy Aikman was the quarterback of the Cowboys. There's a reason why they won 3 Super Bowls. Randall Cunningham was the quarterback of the Eagles, and that's why they were very successful, back in those days. Okay? The Giants had okay quarterback play, but great defense, right? Got them to where they need to do. Their play was above average to get them in there, especially if you talk about Eli Manning, right, in that era of football. Right? The Eagles they went to the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts, and they won with Nick Foles. They've won constantly because they do things the right way, right? These teams don't worry about their record. They give up on players. They say, fuck it. We're going to trade for players. We're going to get rid of them. Right? Jahan Dotson made a big catch. They traded for the guy at the beginning of the year. We thought it was a big trade. They got Jahan Dotson. He's paid dividends. What do? They went out and they got Barkley. They made the moves necessary because they have the quarterbacks to do it. I expect the same thing to happen to Washington at the end of this year when they get their ducks in a row. They're going to go, how much money do we have? Where do we need to go from here? And how do we build off this continued success and make our quarterback great? And that's the difference. You get a good quarterback in here. The Giants did it when they had Eli Manning. Had Eli Manning in here. They brought in Justin Tuck, Matthias Kiwanuka, all these players, and he elevated them. Hakeem Nicks is not Hakeem Nicks without Eli Manning. Victor Cruz is not Victor Cruz without Eli Manning. Okay? Why teams win in this league is because the quarterback position is priority. And then they build their team that way. And that's what you're getting right now. Washington was nothing. They weren't even supposed to be a quarterback away. They drafted a quarterback, took a chance on a guy, and their whole franchise is turned around because they had competent leadership,
a good quarterback, and a team that believes in what they're doing. You look at the Eagles. Ever since Jalen Hurts has been inserted into the starting lineup in 2021 as a full-time starter, they've been to the playoffs. That's 3 years running right now. He came in 2020, second half of that year. Ever since he's been a starter from 2021, they went to the playoffs, lost to Tampa Bay, went to the Super Bowl, lost to Kansas City, and then lost last year again to Tampa Bay, right? And now they're headed for the playoffs again. And the only common denominator in those 3 years of those teams has been a change of quarterback.
And like don't like misconstrue anything like we're saying. Like you're not always going to strike gold either. You can't allow that to be you can't allow C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels be like the new standard either of
Right.
expectations. Like
Exactly.
you're not always going to nail it quite like that. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
where the guys just come in and the impact is that bountiful right away. That's not going to always happen. You can't expect that to happen. So like Giants get a guy in here and it's looks a little more like the Caleb Williams process right now. You can't just be like think in year one, oh, we should have just stuck with Daniel Jones for all of this. We should have just kept building around him. We brought this him in, he can't do shit. No,
Exactly.
you can't let that stuff cloud your judgment. You can't, because let's face it, C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels these last couple of years, that's somewhat of an anomaly. You don't usually see that kind of an impact immediately right away. That's kind of rare. And the fact that we've gotten it 2 years in a row, but you just can't allow that to be the new standard. You can't
Even
have that as
Bo Nix not playing
expectation and think
incredibly
that
well.
everybody's going to do that.
I mean, Bo Nix not playing incredibly well, but think about this, right? Everyone had him as a second-round pick. Not a lot of people liked him. I like Bo Nix. He's coming in, he's done an okay job. Caleb Williams has had an okay season, right? There's going to be growing pains. I don't expect that to happen either. What I expect is you take a freaking swing on a quarterback and give me a damn chance to believe in something. You're going to probably be the second pick in the draft. Get me Cam Ward. Get me Shedeur Sanders. Get me Garrett Nussmeier. I don't care if there's flaws. I don't care what pundits say. Remember, pundits are out there. They have their own personal preference, and they also need to do it. Everybody gets things wrong. All these draft experts go across the board and get things wrong. All the time. It happens. Sometimes they're right, again, with Daniel Jones, and sometimes they're wrong with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, if they knew he was going to have this impact, he should have been number one. He didn't go number one because of many different things. He should have been number one. Right? Same thing with Mahomes. People knew about Mahomes, but if they knew what they were going to do about Mahomes, he would be the number one overall pick. Jordan Love would probably be selected higher.
Absolutely.
Lamar Jackson probably is in the top 10. Probably in the top 10. All right, that guy was drafted 32.
Oh, absolutely.
And he had 4 or 5 quarterbacks go ahead of him. Right? Josh Allen. It would probably, in that draft, 1, 2, 3 probably would be Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield. Probably
Lamar Jackson. It's probably the way it should have been when you look at back hindsight now.
Right. Like if you were to redraft that right now, it probably goes Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and then you Sam Darnold's number 32. Because now you're like, all right, at least he's coming around. But think about that. That draft class is still in the league. 3 out of the 5 of that draft class are headed to the playoffs. 4 of them might be headed to the playoffs if you count Sam Darnold, who's having a resurrection year, who, by the way, the Giants could have signed but didn't. Okay? Baker Mayfield, who the Giants could have signed but didn't. Even guys like Geno Smith. Geno Smith, I'm not saying he would go higher, but Derek Carr definitely would go higher. Derek Carr was a second-round pick. If you said, hey, look at the career he's had, he's probably going in the mid-first. Right? It's called taking a chance. Jalen Hurts will probably be going in the bottom of the first round right now. He was in the second round. He'd probably go in bottom first.
Sure was.
Because if you said to extrapolate his career, I'd be in the playoffs, I'm going to be one of these guys, think about that. No. We're worried about, this guy's going to be a reach. I don't want to take this guy, You take the guy, and if he wins you a fucking Super Bowl, you're not going to fucking worry about it. If he gets multiple MVPs, if you're fighting constantly for a playoff spot, like what you don't want is a Nick Foles, where you get here and the guy's out the league next year. I don't want a Nick Foles. What I want is to get a Matthew Stafford or, a fucking Jalen Hurts, hell, even a Jared Goff type of player. in here to change my friend. Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams, got kicked to the curb in Detroit, and is about to take another team to the Super Bowl. Okay? That guy was second overall. It was first overall pick. First overall pick.
Yeah.
I think he was first. It might have been, if not second.
He was first. No, he was first. He was first, and Wentz was second.
So the point is that you take a fucking swing at these guys. Okay? That's what you do. And if they fucking blow up, they blow up. But you think about it right now, the NFL, you can win. The reason why anomalies happen like C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels is coaching. You know, Anthony Richardson, if he's in a better place, is probably better, but he was just a raw talent. They're going back to that kid. Bryce Young, they went back to that kid. Like, you take a swing. Get me some hope in the building. And if you are a coach that you say you are, Brian Damel, we're going to get the best out of this guy, and we're going to have one of those resurgence because you're going to not put the quarterback in a bad spot. You're going to do what Sean Payton's doing with Bo Nix.
What's up, Wales? Came in at the end, man. Appreciate you stopping by, bro. But yeah, man, we are getting ready to wrap things up, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, stopping through, man. Yeah, this has just been it's been a tough week as us being New York Giant fans, man. It's just been a tough week. You know, just this team is bad, and there's just nothing else more you can say about it. They're a very, very, very bad team. Very, 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 very bad in a lot of different ways. They're bad in the front office. They appear to be bad on the sidelines as far as the coaching. They're bad with the execution of the players on the field. And I mean, like I said, and I'm going to keep saying it, they're absolutely just atrocious at quarterback. The quarterback room of this New York Giant team is a fucking joke. The fact that your quarterback room is Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito, that's a joke. Who's taking that seriously? Who's taking that quarterback room seriously? Which guy in that quarterback room is making the next guy better? Which guy in that room is making the other next guy better? Who's making Tommy DeVito better in that room? What's Daniel Jones doing for Drew Lock? They were drafted the same fucking year. Same pathetic-ass quarterback draft class that was. They were both drafted the same year. And they both suck. And that's what's in the New York Giant quarterback room right now. Like I can't do it. Won't do it. Daniel Jones tries back out there against Tampa Bay. I'm done. Done for this season. And I've never ever done anything like that in my fanhood of the New York Giants. But I can't watch another down of a Daniel Jones led offense. I can't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. But Adam, unless you got anything else you want to say before we get up out of here, man, we can get ready to wrap things up, brother.
Listen, Giant fans, Drew Lock is not going to prevent us from getting a top 3 pick in this draft. Just being honest. Okay, so if he comes in, yeah, sure, maybe there's a spark here. They throw the ball deep downfield here and there, but it's going to be the same result. Just going to look a little better. And you don't have to listen to Daniel Jones or look at him anymore. So take it all in. The end of an era is here. The dawning of a new day hopefully will be coming soon. Whether that's with these guys, I have no idea. I would not bring them back, but again, I'm not John Mara. He does some weird things. So we'll see. It's going to be a long 7 weeks. Embrace the suck. And hopefully it'll lead us to the changes that need to be made to get this team going in the right direction.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But change has to come, man. It has to happen. But we will see. Only time will tell with this New York Giant football team, man. But we were saying, make sure y'all definitely tune in tomorrow night, Thursday, for my guys, Adam Costas, Zion Zenith, man. I'm gonna have to miss out this week at the Premium Takes podcast because I will be taking a trip out of town. But I'll be back next Thursday with my guys, and me and Adam will definitely be back next Wednesday for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Round-Up. I like like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants Fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants Fan. That's MacDa Giants Fan.